Welcome to Recovery Corner, where the many pathways of recovery intersect. This is a space where you will hear personal stories of triumph in recovery, gain insights into various recovery-oriented systems, and learn how leaders across the country are building recovery-ready communities. The Recovery Corner podcast does not provide clinical advice. This episode contains discussions of specific substances and mental health issues. Viewer discretion is advised.
So my name is Soraya Sampson, and I am the Director of Strategic Equity and Inclusion for Young People in Recovery. And today we have Lauren.
Hi.
Hi. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Lauren. So my name is Lauren. I am from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So I'm Canadian.
Awesome.
I'm just really excited to kind of share my story a little bit more. I haven't talked about my recovery as much on my social media as much recently. So I'm just excited to kind of start talking about it a little bit more.
That is really exciting. I don't think we've had any Canadians on our podcast, so that's
really?
super cool. Yeah. I lived in Canada for a year, though. Just a fun fact. I went to a university in Sherbrooke, so just like a really random town in Quebec. And I lived there for a year, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Okay, awesome. So can you start by sharing a little bit about your personal journey with substance use disorder and how it's really shaped your path towards the work that you do now on TikTok?
Yeah, absolutely. So the main thing that I think people misunderstand about addiction is that you can be addicted to absolutely anything.
Yeah.
Like you can be addicted to sugar, you can be addicted to video games, you can be addicted to, weed is legal here in Canada.
Yeah.
And that's like the biggest thing that I'm in recovery from at the moment.
Yeah.
That's what I struggled with a lot more recently. I am 5 years sober from every other substance. So I used to do cocaine a lot. I was definitely addicted to cocaine when I was working in bars and stuff like that. Just like keep me going and stuff. I didn't really realize it was an addiction. It was like this fun thing that I can do, I can stop anytime,
Yeah.
So that it kind of started for me when I started working in bars. Weed actually helped me come off of all of that stuff. So I never went to any recovery group. I never went to any, addictions counselor or anything like that 5 years ago. And then more recently, I decided that I was going to, in the past 5 years, just like after I stopped doing all those drugs.
Sure.
The main reason that I stopped doing all those drugs is because my friends started to die. And I was terrified. I was like, am I going to be the next person who succumbs to this horrible disease that we all know that we're involved in, that we have, but we're not doing anything about it. So I decided I just up and left the city that I lived in. So I moved to a different city.
Wow.
After my best friend had died. Weed was my coping mechanism. And I heard somebody say in the Share Your Story one that with Jesse.
I love Jesse.
He sounds really awesome. I didn't listen to the whole podcast, but he said something along the lines of, oh gosh, it's like completely blanking me now. I'm totally forgetting what he said now. I was literally just listening to it, but that's okay. Anyways, he said that it wasn't it's the coping mechanism. Like the drugs are not the problem, they're the solution. So for me, smoking marijuana was a solution, and using nicotine and stuff like that was like the solution. And it worked for a really long time until I found out that I have something called cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome.
Whoa.
Which is this super horrible illness that just makes you really sick, really anxious. It basically takes everything that weed does for people, like calm you down, make you hungry, soothe anxiety, that kind of stuff, and makes it 10 times worse. It like turns it because the cannabinoid receptors in your body are not properly processing it. So for me, I get really sick, like vomiting and anxiety for like 2 weeks straight. I usually end up in the hospital. I usually go into psychosis.
My goodness.
So yeah, it's really bad. And it's
Wow.
literally, and people, it's just weed, right?
Yeah, but like I used to live in California where like obviously
Mhm.
there's a really big culture around marijuana and also like a really big culture around marijuana for harm reduction. And I have never heard of this. Like I have never heard of that's if fascinating. That's great. That's insane. And
Yeah,
you've
and
been
it's
living
always
with that.
it's to me, it's not like about the substance either. It's
Yeah.
about what it's doing to you,
Hmm.
right? If
Yeah.
it starts to impact your life, then it's really going to,
Hmm.
it's not, you're not going down the right path.
Yeah.
This, I could have ended up on the streets just as easily as somebody who was addicted to methamphetamine,
Yeah.
you know
100%. Yeah.
because I was spending all my money on it. I was using it to cope. I was getting extremely sick when I didn't have it, or when I
Mhm.
had too much of it. So yeah, that's kind of like my story. That's like my like background with addiction. I don't know if that
Yeah.
really answered your question.
No, that answered 100%. Awesome. So foraying off of that, what really inspired you to use TikTok as a platform to share your experiences and provide, like mental health advice and just like support to others? What started that?
So what started it was this viral video that I posted, that ended up getting about 19 million views. It was about my breakup. To be honest, it's got so many views, you've probably seen it. It's um yeah, it kickstarted my whole entire, like, I guess you could say, career on
Yeah,
TikTok. I'm
yeah.
Canadian, so you can't really have much of a career on TikTok. But I gained 24,000 followers within like a
Wow.
week.
Yeah.
And I decided to, like, I didn't want to use that, like, take that for granted. I didn't want
Yeah.
to just say, to hell with it, with this huge following that all of a sudden, like, people were following me because of like this one video. People were
Yeah.
concerned about me. I wanted to make sure, like, that people knew that I was okay.
Yeah.
And then I decided, I want to make sure other people are okay too.
Hmm.
Because after I posted the video, and all of a sudden I had, like, within, I don't know, 3 days, it was 15 million views or something like that. Like,
Wow.
it was
Yeah.
absolutely absurd how fast the views grew on that video.
Yeah.
And I went into, like, shock.
Yeah.
And I had a breakdown. I had also just broken up with my
Of
ex-boyfriend,
course.
who I
Yeah, of
was
course.
like,
Yeah.
that didn't help anything. I was also experiencing the cannabinoid hyperemesis. So these three things building
Hmm.
up on one another
Yeah.
caused me to end up in a psychiatric ward in the hospital. Um, and I stayed there for about 2 weeks. And after that, I learned a lot about myself. I met some really cool people in there. I decided that I wanted to share my story with people.
Yeah.
And from that one video that I posted where my boyfriend
Yeah. Yeah.
destroyed my bedroom, I have been getting comments from people who are saying things like, um, my behavior is, has started to go this way. Thank you for showing me how things could end up, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And that really inspired me. Like, okay, I posted the video to be petty, to be totally honest.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, it was
and
worth being petty about. As somebody who saw it, I I'm a huge gamer and my boyfriend is a huge gamer and we also like live together and we both work from home. If he did that, like I showed him the video and he was like, "Look at all that stuff that was destroyed." Like I was just
yeah,
like, absolutely not.
it was crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. So, um, it was, I decided to leave it up
Yeah.
after, people started messaging me and saying, hey, like, my boyfriend is acting like this. I think I need to leave him. Or, the coolest thing that somebody had ever said to me, and multiple people actually said this to me in private, was that, thank you for showing me this video, because
Yeah.
I see my behavior, kind of forecasting this for myself.
Yeah.
So I need to tone it down, which was really cool to see. So yeah, I started to post a little bit more. I tried to get a little bit more creative with my content, and tried to, show people, like, cleaning up an
Yeah.
ADHD depression mess, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Um, And I just haven't had the time, honestly,
Yeah.
recently to make any content like that. But it's yeah, that's kind of what kickstarted my like wanting to help people on social
Yeah.
media. And I think I have so far a little bit. I also have a series called Mental Health Mondays that I
Yes.
again don't have a ton of time for right now, but I plan to start that up again next week. So yeah, I'm
Awesome.
it's just to create a safe space for people to talk. That's my main goal, is to create a safe space for
Yeah.
people. Because at the end of the day, the reason that my ex acted the way he did is because he, you know, is an alcoholic,
Mhm.
and he has severe childhood trauma that he never
Yeah.
dealt with. And men struggle to deal with their mental health, I think, a little bit more than women.
Yeah. I don't think
Um,
they are taught that they can express it or that they can like feel feelings.
yeah, so it comes out in an unhealthy manner.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so I don't completely, excuse me, fault him for what happened.
Sure.
I really don't. I think that there's a lot of factors that come into play. I just know that that was toxic for me, and I can't be
Yeah.
in that situation anymore.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's kind of that.
Awesome. So, I am not a TikToker. I think I've posted like one video on my entire account, and it's like of my pet pig when he was like a baby. That's it. Like that's the only
You
video I think
have
I've
a
ever.
pig.
I
Oh my
do. I
gosh.
have a mini pig. His name is Kevin Bacon.
Oh
Um,
my
and
god.
yeah, he's like 2 now. And yeah, honestly, get a pig. They're like super smart. He's like way easier to train than the dog and everything.
Really?
Yeah, he's great. He comes inside, outside. He sleeps in his kennel. He like sits on the couch with me and snuggles. Like he's just like a normal, it's like a dog, but like a pig, you know? But he's
Oh,
about the same
that's so,
size as my dog, so it works out, you know?
that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, so can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced while sharing, your personal experiences on a public platform?
Oh yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah. That's one of the biggest challenges that faced me, that I think I started to spiral
Mhm.
with, was posting it on social media to begin with,
Yeah.
posting like that video. Um but there's been backlash. There's, when you post things on the internet,
Yeah.
people are going to have their own opinions, rightfully so. If you're looking at it from a critical standpoint, there's people who'll be like, you don't know the full story, she probably did this is narcissistic behavior, posting what he did.
Mhm.
You probably pushed him to that point, you deserve
Okay.
this for unplugging the Wi-Fi, it was just his birthday, those kinds of things. And a lot of people as well, when I actually talk about my struggle with substance use disorder and marijuana,
Mhm.
um there's a lot of pushback, like
Yeah.
marijuana is not addictive, it's blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
my answer to all of those is, sugar is the most addictive substance on the planet.
Yes. Which is
So
like, yeah,
yeah.
100% like the best response you could probably give is like,
Yeah.
hey, we don't call sugar like habit forming, but I've definitely cut off sugar and gone through 3 weeks of legitimate withdrawals where I was like sweating and I had headaches and I was cranky and I was uncomfortable. I was sick for 3 weeks because I stopped like doing sugar. I did the whole 30 and I was sick the whole
Oh,
time.
yeah. Yeah,
But
well,
like
and it also doesn't help that like food just doesn't taste as good without sugar or
we
salts
put in
or
everything. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly,
And we don't
right?
consider it to be habit forming, but it is, right? And I
Yeah.
think I definitely think that anything that like you use to cope, anything that can like dull emotions or like make it easier to get through the day, I think like yeah, you can 100% form habits and like become dependent on that. I think people are a little quick to say, "Hey, no, you can't," but that's a little silly.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also not to say that marijuana is horrible. Like, I
Yeah,
don't judge
no.
people who go out for a
Mhm.
drink. Like, if you
Sure.
don't have a struggle with substance use disorder, you can go out and have an alcoholic drink and probably be totally fine the
Yeah.
next day. If
Mhm.
I smoke a joint, I spiral.
Yeah.
I can't just smoke one,
Oof,
whether I
yeah.
say that I can or not. that's just not how it works
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. And that's like, I think that's a big part is just like, no, yeah, you're so cool.
Thank you.
So, of course. So have there been any, specific success stories or moments where you felt like you made a significant impact on someone's life through your content?
Yeah, actually, I think I was just talking about this.
Yes.
Sorry, I did read through all the questions.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
Um, I think it was, the most important for me when people came to me and said,
Yeah.
hey, like my behavior is going this way, like I act like this. If my mom or my girlfriend unplugged the Wi-Fi, I'd probably freak out like this too. So thank you for sharing this with me and telling me to tone it down, basically.
Yeah.
And there have been a couple moments in my Mental Health Monday lives where I've helped people find resources in their area, because Googling stuff, honestly, like it doesn't matter where I live, like I can Google something for you. If you're stressed out and you're in a state of mind where you feel like you can't find resources, that's what my lives are all about, trying to help people find resources and stuff. I helped this girl find a counselor in her area, and she lived in Denver, Colorado. And I live in Calgary, Alberta, in Canada. So like
Wow,
how
yeah.
I was able to do that was kind of crazy. But she messaged me a couple weeks later and said, like, hey, I'm set up with this counselor now. I really appreciate that. And that's kind of like what it's all about. Like if I can just help one person,
Yeah.
it makes you feel so much better about yourself, like selfishly kind of too, right? Like,
No, for sure. Yeah.
kind of, it makes you feel good. But it also is nice to know that you have helped somebody. This person is now in counseling, and has left their abusive boyfriend who, that was the biggest thing for me, was getting her out of the situation that she told me that she was in. So that one was really that one struck a chord with me for sure, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that's incredible. Awesome. So, how do you ensure that your content remains a safe and supportive space for your audience, especially considering like the sensitive nature of the kind of things that we were discussing?
Oh, that's a great question. I try to make sure that I'm always talking in inclusive language.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's really important. It's 2023. There's a lot of people who still don't understand, gender neutral pronouns or terms and stuff like that. So trying to make sure that I'm always being like neutral in that aspect is really something that I try to do. Another thing that I do is call out people who are just being shitty. Like
Yes.
I will and my followers will come for them. Like, and so I had to stop doing it because people are deleting their accounts because of it. There were 3 people who I reposted. They were like, this one guy said something along the lines of, it was his birthday and we do a lot for y'all, like, being very assumptive about men and women and gender roles and stuff like that. And he was like, my man just wanted a safe space, you can't go outside yelling and screaming at the top of your lungs, blah blah blah. And I reposted the video and I was just, oh sure, yeah, like nodding along and agreeing with it the whole time. This person deleted their whole account because
Oh my goodness.
because my followers came for them. They were like, yeah. I mean, that's not necessarily the goal. The goal is trying to
for sure.
people, be better people as opposed to just be shitty people. Or just like realize what you're saying, and that people, when you're posting things on the internet, like people see it, even though I have 27,000 followers. That's really not a lot on the grand scheme of things, and TikTok anyways.
I think it's easy for people to see like to just see like, oh, this is a content creator, this is a person who does this, and like as soon as that label is on you, it's almost like you're not a person anymore. It's like celebrities, like, oh, you're an actress, and then like you're not a human being anymore. Like it just like separates you for some reason.
Yeah,
and people don't understand that. Yeah, like
there's this like wall of the internet that keeps you safe, supposedly. But like, haven't you seen Don't Fuck with Cats? Like they
I saw that one. Yeah.
It's crazy what people on the internet can do.
Yeah, no, like they will track you down. It's crazy. And I can't imagine like having to like be aware of that every time you like respond to a comment or like make a post, like just having to consider that like there's like 27,000 people who might see this and might be like
Mhm.
affected by what you're putting out. Like that's like the kind of stress I'm like, I just don't know how people do it. Like
It is a little stressful, but and not to sound, I don't know, cocky, but like you
sure.
get used to it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, people are going to agree with you, people are going to disagree with you. You have the choice to post the content. If
Yeah.
you don't want to post it, don't post it. Like I could easily delete my TikTok account right now because people still comment on that video
Yeah.
saying, or people comment on my new videos because they want to get my attention. The
Mhm.
ones that have like, way less views, they'll be, or comments and
Mhm.
stuff, they'll be like, you ruined your ex's birthday. And I'm like, dude, that was 6 months ago. Like,
Dude, he ruined his own birthday. What?
yeah. And so, yeah, it definitely, can be, it can be a little intimidating for sure. I find, oddly enough, going live a little bit less intimidating because I don't get
Wow.
as many people who come into the
Yeah.
lives, I guess.
Yeah.
And trolls are just gonna be trolls. Like at the end of the day, like, so I'd rather trolls come in my live and try to get me riled up than actually go into somebody else's live and possibly affect them.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So, I'm curious, have there been any specific resources or maybe people who have played a crucial role in your own recovery and mental health journey?
Yes, absolutely. My mom, straight off
Oh,
the top, my mom
yeah.
has been an absolutely amazing support system for me. I could not have done this without my mom. She, when I was in the hospital, she went and fed my cats every single day. She was making sure that my apartment was, you know, in an okay state, even though it was filled with a huge depression mess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's also this group that I can talk about. I've actually talked to them about talking about it because it's not anonymous. Smart Recovery, which is
Awesome.
worldwide. Have you heard about Smart Recovery?
No, I haven't. I'd love
Oh,
to.
okay. So it's different than a lot of other recovery groups because a lot of recovery groups are religious based.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for me, like I am a pagan. I don't practice Christianity or
Mhm.
anything like that. I practice paganism, which is often looked down upon
I think that's
by
really cool.
oh, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely helped me find some like solace and stuff and just understanding my trajectory
Mhm.
in the universe.
Yeah, and like a
Um
connection with nature is like that's like a huge thing for me. Like I don't know if I have any labels, but I agree with anything that's about that,
yeah.
really highlights like a connection with nature.
Yeah, absolutely. And Smart Recovery does just that. Like
Mhm.
you can come from any background. And I mean, with other groups, you can as well. Like
Yeah,
any
yeah.
background and there's no judgment. I haven't tried any other recovery groups. I just didn't
Mhm.
want to do a religious based one.
Sure.
So that's why I chose to do Smart Recovery. And it's completely free. You can buy, they have a little like book that you can go through as well. It does cost like $20
Sure.
Canadian. I don't know
Yeah.
how much it is in the US, but it's completely worldwide. You can find a meeting at any time online. And it's really helped me. I've met some really cool people. They do in-person meetings again after
Yeah.
COVID and stuff.
Mhm.
So and usually they have groups in like every city if it's a major city. But if you're not in a major city, you can literally go onto the website and type it in and say, hey, like I'm in Denver, for
Yeah.
example, and
Yeah.
they will bring up all the meetings that are, within your vicinity, so that you can meet people around you as well.
Yeah.
But you can also go to a meeting in Hong Kong if you live in Vancouver. Like, it's really cool.
That's really cool. We very similarly are also like a multiple pathways organization. So we don't promote one method of recovery over another for very similar reasons. Like I personally have a lot of trauma in the church and in I was raised very, very evangelical, and it really affected my mental health. And I was not given the mental health treatment I needed because doctrine was like weaponized, you know what I mean? And so like I'm still healing from a lot of that trauma. And so sometimes people don't understand when I say things like no thank you, like I don't want to go to like an Al-Anon or an AA group or something that may be like very like religiously centered or faith-based, because personally that just like would set me back. It would set my progress back as far as my own mental health goes. And I think that's something, especially, I can't speak to Canada, but I think in the United States, it's almost so like woven in that we don't question it. And that when we say and where we set those boundaries, it can be like, well, that's so weird. Like it's open to everyone, but like sometimes you still want an option that really genuinely feels like a safe space for you. And that's
Mhm.
not, I don't think sometimes people don't understand why what is a safe space for them isn't always a safe space for everybody else. So that's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great way to put it. Is like sometimes a safe space for you isn't a safe space for everybody. I
Yeah.
really like that actually.
Yeah, AA
Um,
works. Like faith-based programs work for people
mhm,
who love them and use them. They work. Like they have power. But they don't work for everybody, right? I don't
mhm.
think we can like fit people into boxes, I think. And that's something that YPR really stands for, is that we believe any method of recovery, whether it's harm reduction, medicated assisted treatment, faith-based, 12 steps, whatever, we're really, really, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. Whatever works for you
recovery
works
is
for you.
recovery.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong journey. You're always in recovery, and you're always working on your recovery. And yeah, for me, SMART has worked really great. They do have a book, um,
Awesome.
that's like a workbook to like
Yeah.
that have like urge logs and stuff like that.
Oh,
They
that's
also have a
cool.
free app that you can download as well.
Awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, it is I really enjoy it. And I haven't been to a meeting in quite a while because I started going to school recently,
Oh,
but
wow.
I go about once a month now.
So
Um
what are you studying?
I'm pharmacy assistant.
Oh, wow. That's so fun. That'll be
Yeah,
so
thank you.
cool. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations
I'm
on
really
starting
excited about
school.
it.
Yeah,
It's a really short program, so
that's the best.
and I'm not necessarily even sure I'm going to leave what I'm doing right now. I am a fundraising coach right now.
Awesome.
And well, a fundraiser, I was a fundraising coach, but after I took my leave of absence, I stepped down.
Yeah.
Just for my mental health. But yeah, it is pretty cool to go into like I want to be in the medical field.
Sure.
And understand that kind of stuff. One of the reasons being my recovery, understanding, because I'll be doing things like administering not naloxone, Suboxone
Mm,
and methadone and stuff like that. Like I'll be giving that
awesome.
to people to take and
Wow.
stuff like that. And obviously the pharmaceutical industry is booming.
Yeah. Hmm.
um so
Booming. It's an accurate way to put it. I like it.
yeah, I mean, we won't get into conspiracies,
Yeah.
but but yeah, no, being in medical in medicine and like understanding how my medicines affect me as well has been really cool and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just been it's a fun little journey, and it's just a short little 4-month course.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Awesome. So I think we just talked about it a little bit, but so what are your future goals when it comes to your platform and, the impact that you hope to make in the mental health field? So what's next?
well, yeah, that's a big question, especially when it comes to my social media. I really
Yeah.
want to get into that a lot more, and start building my platform a lot more.
Mhm.
Um, again, just because I know that I do have like I know that I've got this experience that I could share with people, and I know that I have advice that can help people if they're willing to take it and stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So in the future, like mental health Mondays definitely going forward is going to be like an every week thing.
Awesome.
Um and so that's at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time every Monday. if you want to join. And yeah, I'm focusing on school and work right now.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not going to be posting a ton of content, but definitely making sure that I'm sticking to the Mental Health Mondays, because there's been people messaging me the last few weeks where I haven't been on, and they're like, where's Mental Health Monday? Like, where'd you go? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to doing that some more, because it just, it's like it's a safe space.
Yeah.
And if I don't have guests on with me, then I talk about my story or help people find
Yeah.
resources.
And that's awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So where can we find you? Where can we follow you? Where can we get in on all this?
So I am Lauren for the Ocean on TikTok, and I don't really use my Lauren for the Ocean Instagram. But yeah, mostly everything's on TikTok. That's my main social media platform. If you want, you can follow me on Instagram. It's live_simply87.
Awesome.
But I don't really talk about stuff as much on there. That's more of like just
Sure.
life sharing and stuff like that.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's my social media. My TikTok is the main
Awesome.
platform that I use.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was really awesome to have you and to hear your story.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And it's been really cool getting to like share this platform here. So I'm excited to go back and listen to some of the other podcasts too, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.